Hi, Dante.
How are you doing, son?
Congratulations on.
Appreciate it.
I'm doing well. How about yourself, Dante? Congratulations on being drafted by the Miami Dolphins, and welcome to Miami. I'm curious, in 2023, you played lacrosse and football. What was the decision that went into going into football full time?
It was more, I had a shot to, go to the league. I talked to my coaches, but ultimately it was just my body. Playing 18 straight months of two sports is hard on the body and the mind. And to set myself up to, be in the best position to get my name called like today, I had to take the summer off, the spring off to just be mesh with my team and just get my body right. So it was more of like a body perspective.
Joe Shad.
Hey, Dante, it's Joe with the Palm Beach Post. Congratulations.
Appreciate
I'm
it.
reading one of the reports here. It says that an NFL scout said that you have motivational quotes on post-its on a mirror. Is that true? And I don't know if you're there, but are you at your apartment now?
No, I'm not at my apartment. It's not big enough
Oh,
to
okay.
fit my family.
Is there a quote that you know by heart or that's sort of similar, something you try to live by or that's important to you?
It's more of like, you know, I have like a message board of how I'm feeling or my goals and things like that. So it varies week to week. So I put my goals up there so I can see them, whether people believe in I can do it or not. Just being drafted be one of them, and then I'll always on my mirror, especially in season, is be a pest, be a pest. I write it on my hand. I write it every time I can see it. Just that mentality I like to carry when I'm on the field. So when I always remind myself to the mindset mentality that I need to have every day and I go, that's just what I do. So the message boards on my mirror, even in my journals, I have multiple quotes that, sometimes are very vulgar, sometimes are clean, but anything to get me motivated.
Pest. I like that. There's a trend in the NFL where NFL teams will use a third safety often,
Yes, sir.
and it'll be a sort of a versatile chess piece. He might blitz from the edge. He might roll deep. He might cover a tight end. Um, how much experience do you have, for example, covering tight ends and running backs, and also how much experience do you have in terms of moving around in different positions on the field?
Yeah, I played almost every position on the field that DBs can play, even some outside corners when I had to fix mistakes of corners and things like that. I played in the box, I played in two high, one high, covered a lot of tight ends, covered some slots. I'm very versatile, jack of all trades. Even I showed my versatility at the Senior Bowl, covering slots and blanketing slots. I mean, blanketing tight ends, which I covered at the Senior Bowl. But anywhere the coach needs me to play, I'm able to play. I've had multiple years of playing in many systems against many types of personnels, from full spread teams to ground and pound 13 T personnels in Iowa and Nebraska. So I've done it all and seen it all.
Thanks, Tom.
Al.
Dante, hell have it with the Palm Beach Post. Welcome.
How we doing?
I'm doing all right, thanks. Um, Going back to your goals that you mentioned, you have goals for this week and goals beyond. What would you say are your goals for 2025 as working in the NFL?
First, I want to make the team. That's just the bare minimum for me, is making the team. Then just establishing myself as, even a young leader that's going to be promising in the next couple of years, and this team. Being on a four core guy and then eventually starting by the end of my year. Always, shoot high, because your your goals have to align with what you do on and off the field. So if I doing everything I need to do to be able to get to those goals, I'm gonna land amongst the stars. You know what I'm saying? You're shooting for the moon, land amongst the stars type deal.
And in terms of being a pest, are you a trash talker on the field?
Not really. I have a switch. I'll be going crazy out there if I'm being honest. It's just I just like to affect the game with my pads. I'm really not a trash talker. It comes out weird if I even say anything. So I let some of my teammates do that. But me, I'm one of those silent assassin guys that you're gonna have to be annoyed at and you can't get rid of.
All right, thanks very much.
Thanks.
Marcel.
How's it going, Dante? Marcel Louis Jacques from ESPN. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. How we
Uh,
doing, Marcel?
I'm good, man. Look, man, I grew up on the West Coast. I know almost nothing about lacrosse.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to speak to a former top 5 player in the country. You know, how does your skill set in lacrosse transfer over to football? Or like, are there any traits that carry over or any overlap there?
I would say physically, like I had to cover on an island. There's a lot more space for lacrosse, just being able to move and to change direction. So I have the short area quickness that DBs need. And then I would say a skill that I didn't realize until the back end was the mental, the mental part of the game. So, just going two sports allowed me to be resilient and nothing could really bother me and get to me. And then also like lacrosse is very mental, kind of like a baseball game. So like you get in slumps and, you control the ball, like your play gets, exposed. And football, you can, be nervous or be not so good. And there's 10 other people to cover up your mistakes. So just being able to have the confidence that you need to, especially be a DB, like we get beat one time and we get called terrible. So you got to be able to be next play mentality. So I got the grit and then the mental fortitude from lacrosse.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Chris Perkins.
Hey, Dante, Chris Perkins from the South Florida Sun Sentinel. How you doing? Hang on, let me turn on my video here.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. All right, here we go.
Hiding.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Hey, good. Hey, 2 questions for you. Number one, I want to know how you got started playing lacrosse. I'm sure you know Jim Brown was a legendary
Yeah.
lacrosse player, but how'd you get started?
Yeah, it was really when spring came around and my whole family played football, basketball, and baseball and softball. So I got tired of sitting at opening days for my sister. I was playing in the dirt. So my dad was like, look, I know you don't like this sport. Well, you're going to get the heck out of the house. So I was like, all right. He was like, yo, we got this sport called lacrosse. Go try it. I was like, all right, I'm going. I want to do it. So with me, like anything that's hard, I attack it. Like it pisses me off. So lacrosse is very hard to me. Football was natural. So I spent a lot of time and hours into lacrosse, and it paid off in the end. But yeah, that's really how it started.
And the second question, I'm wondering if you have special team skills. I know a lot of top players don't usually play a lot of special teams. It'll be probably a key to you making the 53. Do you have special team skills, and how hard do you think it would be to attain them if you don't?
I've been a special teamer all my life.
Okay, I heard you say
One of
four
the
core. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
full court guy. That's how I got
Right.
on the field as a
Okay.
freshman at Maryland. I was on the kick return, kickoff, punt block, even on the hands team as a freshman. And then as I got starting, my coach allows you only be on 2, so I was on punt and punt block. And for us, punt was non-negotiable. I was like the wing adjuster. Well, ours like PP now in the NFL style punt. So it would be easy to be adjusted. I know that's you can win and lose games on special teams. So I'm all for special teams to get my way on the field. So any way I can affect the game.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Dante.
Omar.
So, Dante, I need you to tell the truth. Which sport is harder to play, lacrosse or football, and why?
That's a tough. You trying to put me on the spot?
That's the hot seat right here.
I would say they both. Can I have an even answer?
But
They both got their levels of difficulty. Lacrosse takes a lot of like hand-eye coordination, being able to catch the ball, and then toughness to be able to take a metal pole across your arm or elbow. In football, like there's some huge human beings out there from 6'6" to 300 pounds. You got to go play with, and guys running 4.2s got to be able to cover them. You got to be crazy, play a little bit of both. But I'll probably say football takes the cake just because of physicality part.
Gotcha. Okay. And now, if the pay was even, which one would you choose? I
Pay
know it's
was
not.
Pay was even.
Yeah.
I'll probably be the first one to play 2. Nah, I'm just messing. But I'll probably play football. Yeah.
Why? Why is that?
It was just my first love. It was natural to me. My mom gave me an NFL pillow that I still have. So when I was born, I always had a football around. Like I was the kid that goes to the, Friday night games and never watch the game because I'm playing, toss them up, throw them like with the other kids playing football the whole time. I used to get in trouble in, elementary and middle school because I always asked the gym teacher, could we play football instead of like sharks and minnows or stuff like that. But that was always me. So football was just always natural to me. So I picked that.
Thank you.
David Furonis.
Hey Dante, congratulations! Welcome to Miami.
Appreciate
I
it.
want to know your familiarity with your new defensive coordinator here, Anthony Weaver, and his scheme. Um, different ways he uses the safeties, and what are your impressions of him? I'm assuming you've interacted with him at this point.
Yeah, I mean, just because he brought me in here, went to bat for me, especially with Coach Mike Daniels and special team coordinators and everybody that the front office that's in the building brought me here. Just the ability to play mind games with the quarterback and show different looks and be aggressive in ways of blitzing, two high shells, one high shells, but just the versatility that he puts the safeties in fits my mold and my game. So I feel like I'll be able to do it well here.
And I'm wondering, you being at Maryland, and he was with the Ravens before. Did he did he ever talk about catching you there, or that you caught his eye, anything like that?
Not really. I mean, I didn't hear none of those conversations. I would probably be more with coaches and things like that.
Sure. Cool. Thanks.
We'll close it out with Hassam.
Hey Dante, Hussam Patel once again from Five Reasons Sports. You mentioned that you've played everywhere on the field, more so like the star position. There are very few players in the NFL that can do everything all over the field in the secondary. So, who would you compare yourself to in the NFL, and what players do you usually watch or try to comp yourself to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very versatile. I really, like I said, the pest mindset, I didn't create that. I got that from watching Buda Baker growing up and, on my way to college and now. So he's always been a pest. So I like to try to embody my game after him. Nobody can recreate what Buda Baker does, but I just like his ability to affect the game in all facets, from being in the post, cover two, covering, blitzing, just being all over the field, and you can't get rid of him. So just watching him and modeling my game after him, that's what I try to do.